Yes, my people, big PROZECH back again, and you already know what it is. Your sneaker and lifestyle podcast, Kicks Chronicles. I'm here with a very, very special guest. This has been a long time I'm saying, like, a long time waiting. We've been trying to pattern this for a minute, but it's finally happened. I'm talking to somebody that I think is actually really, really important. Before we were talking, and essentially what he does, right? Because everyone that's watching here, we love kicks, we love shoes, right? What this guy does is he created a company that helps us to protect what we love. Can you imagine? Right? Not only protect, but stack them up and stack them up high. Am I right? You get me? I'm talking to Bernado Redzic from ShoeStack. Come on, bro. I got it right. I know I got that right. I felt good when I said
That's good.
You got me. How you doing, G? How you doing, bro?
Good, mate. Cheers for the introduction and cheers for having me on.
No, it's an absolute pleasure, man. As I said, it's been a long time in the making. You know, I always love to shine a light on businesses in the culture that are really helping to serve and provide good products. So, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on, bro. Before we get into sort of everything else, man, how was your day? What you been up to, man?
It's been a really good day, but really busy. It's our Black Friday sale just now, so orders have been coming in quite hot. So I've been sorting out orders and just finished Crep City on Sunday. So the van was still loaded up and I had to get all that offloaded and then a few other bits. Just basically got finished just before the podcast.
I respect it. The grind never stops, bro. How was Crep City? Because unfortunately, I wasn't able to come to Crep City this year. I had literally organized a live podcast with a very, very cool individual. I'm not going to divulge who that will be coming, but unfortunately, we weren't able to do it. So I ended up missing Crep City for a podcast that I didn't end up recording. But I did see a lot of the videos and photos, and it seemed like it was a really cool event. So how did you find it?
No, it was really good. It was a really good event for us. Met a lot of new customers. Usually see a lot of our old customers as well, which is good. Like, I love going to these events and just connecting with all the sneakerheads.
Absolutely.
And they had Whatnot there again, but it was like slightly different. They had a few different things on the go, like Culture Force was there buying people's stuff, and then I didn't really get a chance to go around and see it because I was at my stand, but he was then all the stuff that he'd bought, he'd done a live stream and sold it, and the Soul Supplier was doing the stage takeover with Nova.
I saw some photos of that. That looks sick.
We got a little collab with him, got him to give away some boxes and that. It was really good and busy. Good show for us.
That's good, man. That's good. We will get into stuff like this a little bit later, man. But one question I always want to ask, like, when you go to these shows, what is the end goal? Is it really to just like meet the public? Is it just to brand, to popularize the brand, just to have an awareness at these shows? Or is it to sell product? What is it? Or is it all of the above? Maybe it's all of the above.
A bit of everything, really. Yeah. Obviously, we like to get the brand out there. And people, like when I speak to people and they come and see us at the event, they say, "Oh, I've already seen you on socials, or I've seen your website," but they like to see the product and touch it. And then they come, because there's a lot of cheaper products out there, which like I've tried myself before I started this business. And from a picture, you might not necessarily be able to tell, but they like to get up and have a look and see it, and it makes a big difference. And then connecting with them in person, they can put our face to it, get a chat with us, and it works really good. And obviously it costs quite a lot to go to all these shows. We do all the Crep Cities, so getting the sales in to at least cover some of the costs is what we look for. If I break even at a show, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, no, I hear that because what you can't quantify is the sort of is the awareness and the sort of marketing piece of it in terms of the advertising, because a lot of the sort of conventions and shows that I've been to where you've had a presence. You like have like your van, which obviously has got massive shoe stacks on the side of it. You'll have some sort of competition or activation that you're running, which is super interactive and gets people around and buzzing around the brand sort of thing. So I always feel like you've learned a good way. You've obviously sort of been to enough that you've kind of figured out, okay, if you're gonna be at a brand, there's no point you just being there, sort of just set up and just looking. You've got to interact and have
That's it.
something that engages the people. So I always respect that. That's really, really cool. But bro, what we got to do now? We got to take it right back to the beginning. Bernado, man, we got to talk about your first love. What was that shoe that got you into the game? That one that you fell in love with. What was that first shoe, bro?
It was. I can still remember it. It was, I don't remember the exact model, but if you know, like the Nike Shocks.
Of course.
One with the 4 red shocks on the back.
On the back,
that was the first shoe.
Was it the white one? Is it the white one with the 4 red or the black one with the 4 reds?
It was black. With
bro,
4 red shocks. And
that
was back when I was in primary school.
Yeah, that was sick. That was some deeper innovation at the time, man. I don't think we really acknowledge what like Nike was doing, like, because when they came out of it, like the idea of springs being on the back of your shoe, springs, bro.
And I was young.
It's like a cartoon thing. Like, it's actually sick when you think of that.
That's it. I was young. I must have been like 9 or 10, primary school. And when it was like my first pair of shoes that was quite expensive as well. So I can't remember exactly how much, but it was probably close to the £100 mark, which was like a lot of money back then.
That's a massive amount of money back then, bro. Like, because I can obviously hear an accent. Where did you grow up?
I was born in Bosnia and came over to Scotland when I was 2. Amazing. So I've lived in Edinburgh for the last 30 years.
Shout out to Edinburgh. I'm a big fan of Scotland. I've got some family that live in Glasgow, Paisley in Glasgow. So I'm up there quite often, man. Beautiful, amazing people. Terrible weather. We can all agree, right? And that's from somebody in England, right? They're like pot calling the kettle, right? It is what it is. But yeah, absolutely, like, real hospitable people. Like, for somewhere that's pretty cold, people are super warm, which is lovely, right? When you were growing up, sort of in Edinburgh, when you go back in your mind's eye, what were you seeing on people's feet? What were the shoes that were like really popular?
I remember, like, going way back, it was Superstars.
Really?
Superstars was like the first one that like everybody was wearing. And it's funny because I think it was Soul Supplier just done a post and commented like, what shoe do you think will make a comeback? And then they put a few in. And that kind of brought it back to me, thinking like, I remember when everybody had a pair of Superstars.
Yeah, Superstars were super popular. When I want to say either be the end of secondary school or early in college, Superstars took over, right? But what I realized for myself, because I've got a really wide foot, is that they didn't work for me because the shell toe, I couldn't get all of my feet inside the shell toe. So I worked out quite quickly that it's not for everybody. Like, certain shoes are just not for everyone. But I appreciate them from afar, and they're a very, very cool shoe. Very, very cool shoe. Now, Superstars are definitely a vibe. Was there any other shoes that were popular during that time?
Like Shocks, TNs.
Yeah. I hear that. But it's good that Adidas had a little showing with the Superstars, man, because a lot of these times, Nike end up taking over, man. So it's nice with the Superstars. I saw recently, I think Grace Wells Bonner did a Superstars collab. That's probably the sweetest Superstar I've ever seen in my life. The craziest materials on there. I feel like it was like off-white with really, really nice levers and stuff like that. It was a really, really nice shoe. And I feel like what you said is right in terms of the question that Soul Supplier asked. It would not surprise me, because of that, the heritage of that shoe, to see it like really make a decent comeback. You just might have to make it a little bit wider. I actually remember, right? There was a shoe that came out probably in 2022 called the Super Stuffed Superstar. It was a Kerwin Frost collaboration where the shoe was actually 5 times bigger than your normal size. So essentially, if you bought your normal size, the shoe would actually in length be 5 times bigger because it was stuffed with like foam and stuff like that. So I actually remember, I'm gonna try and find a video of it because I did put a video on. Like the shoe was literally this big. Like I'm already a size 12, so I'm a size 12. The shoe was a size 17 shoe, right? But inside the shoe, it fit like a size 12.
Did you get them?
It was, yeah, I got them. I just got them for the bands because it was crazy. I did end up moving them on because I mean he was walking around like with a clown shoe. It was because the thing is I could understand for some people getting the shoe like might actually make sense because if you have a really small foot, it makes your foot look a bit bigger. But when you've got a really big foot, it makes your foot look like a canoe. So like, it's probably not for me. But do you know what? That actually leads me on to the Kicks Chronicles community question because this week, and shout out to let me get this right. Do you know what? How could I forget? It's actually producer Pete that came up with this question. So shout out to Mr. Peter Ant, who records a lot of my live interviews. He asked, "Do you have a shoe that you've either sold or given away that you regret?" And I think, thinking about it, yeah, man, that Kerwin Frost, man. I feel like what I should have done is I should have bought it 5 sizes smaller, right? And just had it look like it was the right size, but it would have had all of that cushioning and padding in it. So I kind of regret that shoe because I love a comfortable shoe. But what about you? What would you say is a shoe that you regret either selling or giving away?
There's one that I always think about, and it's the 95 OG neons.
Ooh.
And
especially for a Scottish man, you can't give that shoe away.
I know. It's just I remember winning them in the size raffle, got them at retail, and then I think this was like obviously they've always been popular, but
Absolutely.
you know, like recently and probably the last like 2 years, Air Max 95s have just
95s are
the popularity's been crazy, and I like that colorway in particular. Like I don't know if you probably can't see them, but like the 3 shoes there.
I can see the 3. Yeah, I can see it.
They've all got a little bit of neon in them. Like
absolutely.
I've just got the reverse neons, and then I've got the Vapor Max, the exact same shoe, the 95 OG neons, but in the Vapor Max version. I had to get 2 pairs of them because I liked them so much. Like I picked them up off the shelf, and then a few years later, didn't realize how hyped they would be. After I like, beat mine up, and then I was like, I can't even get another pair. I had to get them resale. But that one shoe, I got a good price for it, so I can't really complain. Like at that point, I was just wanting to put money into the business. So when I'm looking at the shoes and they've went up so much, and I paid retail, I was like, I've got other dream shoes. But I do think like you can't really beat like that shoe's a classic.
It's literally it's one. I mean, it's top 5 ever. The Air Max 95s. It's just that special, and it's obviously the heritage of it as well. So yeah, no, I get you, man. That is a fire shoe, man. Shout out to producer Pete for the amazing question, man. Very very
good
cool.
question.
Very 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 cool. One thing I definitely have to ask you, because I ask every one of my guests, is about unholy grails. I don't know if you know what I mean when I say a holy grail. So unholy grail, I should say. So do you know what the term unholy grails means?
I think so. Of your other podcasts, like shoes that you maybe didn't want to wear, or you had to wear them.
Absolutely. The Sports Direct classics, you get me?
Right.
Maybe the Everlast. I'm saying like a Dunlop, a Slazenger.
High tech.
High tech, absolutely. Did you ever have to get involved in the dark arts, Bernado?
Oh, definitely. We came from Bosnia, so like when I got to Scotland, I was a refugee. So like we basically had to start again when we came over here. So it was like I was happy to wear those shoes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I hear that.
And I got those Nike TNs, but like the shocks, but I got like I wore them out. Do you know what I mean? And that was like something special. Before that, it was the unholy grails. Like those were the.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you, man. And you know what? That's super deep when you think about it. Like, I mean, coming from Bosnia at that age, um, like being a refugee, having to sort of acclimatize to a new country, I suppose having to learn a new language. And obviously, as you said, you were 2. So it was a little bit more intuitive than sort of literally, you weren't like going to school already. You didn't have to relearn. You kind of could have just picked it up, but still, like, it definitely had to have been interesting. Do you remember much about sort of that time?
Bits like I remember always say to my mum, like one of my first memories I can remember from the refugee camp, just
Wow.
because a lot of us came over here, and I just remember one of the houses because they were like wooden huts, and someone that came over with us, they're in Newcastle now, but I was still really young, so he was holding me, and I can remember the hut behind. But that's it that I can remember, and then like I can remember coming here and nursery. So I went into nursery, and I can just always remember like being upset seeing my mum going away.
Yeah.
That was like some of my first memories.
Wow, bro. What a life, man. What a life. That is actually very, very deep, man. We don't, a lot of times we take for granted what we have and like the life that, cause my mum's from Ghana. She'd come over from Ghana quite a long time before I was born. But like, sometimes you don't realize sort of like how lucky sometimes we are being in a situation that isn't. I mean, I remember I think it would have been in the 90s that sort of situation was happening in Bosnia. Thank God, obviously, it's not as bad as it once was, and things have resolved. But yeah, man. Yeah, very, very, very cool to hear that kind of story, man. And look where you are, man. Like that's such a amazing story. Like, come over to Scotland and you have a thriving business and you're doing really well. And yeah, man, that's really, really cool, man.
Oh.
And yeah, you had to dabble in some dark arts for a little bit. Who didn't, right?
It makes you who you are. Like
you give me, it gives you the strength, man. Now, but look at the wall behind him, people. You get me, stacked up to the ceiling, bro. The guy's doing okay.
It makes you appreciate it a bit more when you have to wear those shoes. And
absolutely,
like, I feel like everyone's got to dabble in the dark arts at some point, eh?
Bro. I feel like that's a t-shirt at some point, bro. Dabble in the dark. I feel like everyone's got to dabble a little bit. You get me? I feel like people might use it for the wrong reasons. Let me have a think about. Let me have a think about it. But if we end up doing it, we'll definitely collab on that, right? I'll make sure you get your cut. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna get into your collection, bro, and we do that in the part of the interview I call the EST of KIC. And when I say EST, I mean the oldest, the newest, the rarest, the greatest, the best. Now on Kicks Chronicles, we're not all about how much you have in your collection. We're more about your connection. So we want to hear the stories, G, how you copped, where you copped, what you got them for, all of that jazz. We want to hear as much information as you want to give us, you get me? So let's start with the oldest shoe. What's the oldest shoe in your collection?
The oldest, I don't think I've got them here right now because a lot of them were loaded to take down to the show.
I got
so
you.
I've not put them back into their boxes just yet, but I think it's a 2015 that's the oldest, and to be honest with you, it's one that always gets a lot of attention at the shows. Like a lot of the Air Max 90 heads like come up and they're like, they always ask me like to buy them, and I think it's even worse because it's my collection and I'm like, they're not for sale, sorry, it's just for display, so it makes them want it even more. But not many people have these at the shows. Like I've never really seen anyone else have them, so it makes it a bit more special. It's the Cork 90s from 2015. I think it was the 20th anniversary, or it was some anniversary.
Yeah, bro. That's one of them ones, bro. Because the thing is, yeah, when it comes to 90s, there's only a few that like really, really stand out. And I feel like it's been a little bit of a forgotten silhouette in terms of like massive collaborations. And when you look back and you're like, there's a few that like really stand out, and those Cork ones stand out. I always remember the Dizzy Rascals; they stand out to
They're
me.
cool.
The Infrareds are always going to stand out. There's another one that was the Bacons as well. Like there's a few very sick 90s, but the Court 90s are crazy. So yeah, and it's one of them, if you know sort of things as well. So very, very cool shoe. Did you pick them up retail?
No, I got a really good deal on them. My cousin, shout out Sneakerhead, he messaged me and he was like, somebody on Instagram selling these corks, 90 quid, I think it was. 80 or 90 quid. It was a good while ago.
90? 90s for 90? Are you mad? Wowza.
It was probably at least 7 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer. So he messaged me, he said there was no box, but they were unworn, or maybe just worn inside. I picked them up, and I'm glad I done it.
Nah, you smashed it. You smashed it. Because of all the people that don't really need a box, you're the guy, bro. Like, I make my own box. It's cool.
That was even before. It's like I had that premonition, eh?
Facts, bro. This guy don't need boxes, just so people know. This is not the guy you need to give a box to. But yeah, no, that's it. Cut 90s are crazy. So let's flip that on its head. Well, what's the latest pair of kicks you've got in your collection?
The latest, I just got a pair in the Black Friday sale, but they're like they're for running. So I got the.
Oh, you do running as well. I remember you were when I saw you at Kicks and Coffee, you were just about to go to Berlin to do the marathon, right?
Right.
Yeah. So talk to us about that before we get into the shoe that you purchased. Like, how did you get into running, and what do you normally run in?
Normally I run in Saucony, like training, and
Interesting.
I've got a few one or two faster Sauconys, but like for race day I'll race in the Nike Vaporflies, which are like really popular these days. Like you see a lot of marathon runners and that, and they've got a carbon plate, so they're not the comfiest, but for speed.
Yeah, I heard they really help propel you forward.
Aye, and that's the latest pair that I got as well. The newest.
Okay.
I've got quite a few pairs of the Vaporfly 2s. I've got the one that I ran Berlin in was the Eliud Kipchoge collaboration. So it's really cool actually. I think I might have them just round there, but they've got like on the pull tab is when he had I think someone's beat it now, but he had the marathon world record, and it was like 2 hours 1 minute or just under, and it's got his time on the back, his colours, and I think he's like his name on it somewhere. So I had to get those. I've ran most of my races, my last few races, in those ones, but like just day to day running, it's usually Saucony. They're just, I feel like you can't beat them.
I respect it, man. Yeah, I feel like I'm not doing much running. Like 2025, new year, new me, right? But for walking around, I've got the J-Tip Sauconys, just above my head. Super comfortable shoe. Super comfortable shoe. Missed out on the Omni 9s, but I want to get those as well. Saucony have done a fantastic job in the last couple of years, like putting themselves in a deeper position. So I love what they're doing over there, man. I know that they're cooking up a collaboration with Westside Gun in the new year as well. So looking forward to that, man. I feel like they're doing some good things, and it's good that they're the sort of lifestyle department is sort of working quite well with their sort of running department, and people are actually utilizing sort of the technology that they put in their shoes because they are really comfortable. So I respect that, man. I respect that. Like, what are those shoes that are sort of your bop to the shops? The ones that are sort of like behind the door. You kind of like, you might have one, you might have a few. The one that you sort of like, if you're going out to take the bin out, or you're going out to get something from the corner shop. What are those shoes that you just normally draw for that are very, very close by?
If it's like a bit further, normally I'll jump into a pair of Sauconys or some sort of running shoes if I'm needing to actually walk a bit of distance, or maybe unpopular opinion, Crocs.
Not unpopular here, bro. This is a croc safe zone. We love crocs here. You get me? I've even had the number one croc collector in the world on this podcast,
Really?
Mr. Doogie Lishantiger. Shout out to Doogie. You get me, man? So yeah, now crocs are definitely, it's a safe space. Bernardo, don't worry about the crocs, man. We have the crocs. The crocs are secured. You get me? I'm even, to be fair, I'm looking for a pair of Salehis. I'm looking for
Oh,
a
I've
pair of
got a pair.
Salehis.
I do. I
Bro,
wear those quite a lot.
yeah, those are sick. I'm looking for a pair. I had a pair, ended up shutting them. Now I can't get them back. I thought they were gonna I thought they were gonna re up. I thought they were gonna not retro, but I thought they were gonna come back again. But there are pairs that are on the website, but none in my size, and the colors are mad. So I'm definitely gonna have to dip into the secondary to get those. But I feel like I could probably get them for less than £100. If I play my cards right, man. But yeah, Crocs, we love Crocs, man. That's calm. You get me? That's definitely a vibe. Would you say, like, what is your most comfortable shoe?
The rides by Saucony, like I wear them just even running, walking, just on a general.
Ah, yeah, bro, I've seen them before. Yeah, actually, I've seen them before. I just didn't know what the name was. Strong.
And like sneaker wise, probably the comfiest shoes. Like I wore to the last event, this Wembley show, the No Two Ways Formula.
Bro, talk to me about No Two Ways, bro, because I feel like I'm gonna get involved very soon. I've seen some of the silhouettes that they're coming out with, and the colorways are crazy, man. I need to get Rocky on the pod as well, man. Definitely need to pattern that, but they're doing some bits, bro. Talk to me about how you got involved with that.
They one day, I think I bought this pair of shoes here. It was like the first No Two Ways that
I
I got.
recognize it. Yeah,
It's
I
like
recognize it.
maybe their third or fourth colorway, and I liked it because it matched the ShoeStack colors.
Yeah, the black and
So
white colors. Yeah, it makes sense.
I would always, I'd always wear like a black and white ShoeStack t-shirt at the events, and thought this shoe's perfect for it. And it was, I think, the first year that I was starting out. Maybe after my first big order, because I got a little order and then I just went all in, really. Got a big order, and it was on the pre-orders. I looked and I got an order from No Two Ways
Are you
for
serious?
like 100 boxes. Like, is this what I think it is? Like, No Two Ways. And then I reached out. There's a guy called Richard. He runs a company with Callum, and I was like, oh, really like the shoes and that. And then since then, I've added quite a lot to the collection of No Two Ways. Like, I've got the blue ones of that one. I think that was probably my second pair that I got off them. And then I kept in touch because we started roughly the same time.
Around the same time, cool.
They were just starting out. And they got the boxes, and I seen them pop up in a few YouTube videos, like when they're doing talking about their designs. I really like that about their company as well. They'll go like the behind the scenes, show you, like Rocky will go in and tell you like how he's designing it, like Callum's telling you the whole story of how it started. Do you know what I mean? And then I spotted my boxes in the back, so I thought it was
It
was a moment where I was like, oh, that's cool. Do you know what I mean?
That's very cool.
The first time I met them, I was telling Richard that we're going to Wembley for Crep City, and it'd be cool if you'd come along. I think it was the first time they were releasing the formula, and then they were like, yeah, we'll defo work something out. And then they gave our whole team a pair of No Two Ways to wear for the event. And my mum loves them. She actually still wears the foams to all the events. Like, they're like Crocs, but they're a bit more versatile, so you can wear them in like 3 different ways. They've got an insert. I usually wear them without, so like literally just like Crocs, just slide them in. And they gave us the first formula that they released, the white ones, a week before they came out, and we were going to display them at Wembley. We didn't have as big a space as what we usually have. Like when you see us now, it was like we were in the mix. So we just had, I think it was 2 tables right in the middle, close to the stage. And he said, "We'll give you this pair, but I wanted Callum, Rockwell, and Sam to come and sign them because they were the three main ones that actually designed the shoe."
Absolutely.
And they came round. So that was the first time I met them. So they came over to Wembley and our stand got packed out. And
I can imagine.
I remember like we got good footage of it, like all them signing it, and they were just really down to earth, like really nice. It was actually cool to meet the people behind the shoe as well.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I mean, I had the privilege of interviewing Rocky at Sneakerhead last year, I believe. Super down to earth. And I think things have just like really skyrocketed for the brand ever since, man. I feel like their origin is so sort of like relatable. Like it's just it feels like a brand that I feel like a lot of people want to win, and I'm definitely a fan. I'm still waiting for the first cop. Like I'm still waiting for my first cop, but I will be involved. I will be involved without a shadow of a doubt, man.
The price point of them for the quality.
Yeah, no, it's decent. It's good. It's a good shoe. It's a good shoe from what I've seen. Like, because I nearly got involved in that mocha pair that they dropped. They had a mocha pair that come out not too long ago, and that was crazy. But I just didn't have the readies available. You get me, man. But I definitely will be getting involved, man. And yeah, I've heard very similar things in terms of the quality, the workmanship, and the materials, all top tier. And I think it speaks obviously because Rocky's that way inclined in terms of he's fully tapped into what we need, and he's going to Italy and various different places to source these really good materials. So I feel like it's representative of them as well, man. And they have really good sort of campaigns as well. Like they really are tapped into the culture,
marketing's
next
level and
top tier, man. It's a really good company, man. So yeah, I'm saying this and I'm reminding myself I need to pattern with Rocky and get that sorted, man. Yeah,
we always have a display because we've got I like putting shoes with a bit of a story on display at Crep City. So we've got the signed pair from them. I've got another signed pair from Franklin, King of Trainers.
Bro, that's my guy, bro. Franklin is legitimately one of my favorite people in this world. You get me? Like legit the king. My fellow countryman really as well. Like, so yeah, he's my guy. You got his Elises, yeah?
Yeah. Amazing. I remember I bought those and I've spoke to him quite a bit and he's the same. Like he's really down to earth. He's like, if you ever need anything, just give me a call. And he's always just like at the other end of the phone. Do you know what I mean? And I remember when he dropped that, I got the tracksuit as well. And it's like a tennis style tracksuit, but you can take off the sleeves and it matches the shoes. I never wore the shoes and now I can't wear them. I was like, I need to get another pair that I can wear now because they're signed. And it was at Sneakerhead that I met him for the first time and he came and signed the shoes. But those shoes in the no two ways at the events always get a lot of attention. Even just for the shoe, not even the fact that they're signed, and then I can tell them a bit of the story behind it. Like people are always like, "Oh, what's that shoe?" Either that, or if they've got a pair of no two ways, they're like, "I really like the brand. That's really comfy." The same way Franklin's pair, like especially when we're in London, a lot of people are like, "Yeah, that's that shoe." Like they'll recognise it straight away.
Facts.
Or if they don't recognise it, they want to know what it is.
It's definitely. I mean. I will always shout out because Franklin was one of the first guys I interviewed on the podcast, and he's really been a very, very good friend and a mentor, to be honest, in terms of social media. He's legitimately one of the godfathers of UK sneaker culture. Legitimately, nobody can even. No one can chat to me about that. He's one of the forerunners, and he's one of the guys that made it so that a lot of us that have come up after him, he broke down a lot of barriers that we were enjoying for free. So I give him a lot of respect in that regard, man. So yeah, the fact that he managed to get his collab as well was just kudos to him as well, man. So I'm not surprised because that is a London shoe. You get me, and yeah, he's an absolute.
I need another pair now, though. I need another pair to wear.
You need another pair. I actually need to pattern the pair myself because I didn't manage to get them at the first time they dropped, but I will be getting a pair. The issue that I always have is 12s, man. There's never enough, man. There's never enough for my side. But don't worry, when the time is right, we'll always be able to sort. Because I need to sort. The thing with, especially being in this, like, is like you meet people, you see the products, you appreciate the products, and you want to support them. You want to actually support, like, not just in words, not just in like congratulations, keep doing what you're doing, and all of the sort of platitudes that people do. You actually want to physically support, like, and actually buy their product, have their product, display their product, talk about their product, promote their products and stuff like that. Especially when you know they're good quality and stuff like. That's why I'm happy to have your stuff. Like, I've had this on my I've had this one on my shelf for a few months now, and like, it's great quality. It's a good. It's what I'm saying. It's good, but apart from that being good, is I've met you a number of times, and you've also been like super nice every single time I've met. You get me? Like, we've always been really cordial, and you've always, like, I was saying to you before we even started the podcast. You, like, whenever you go to these conventions, you always put your best foot forward. Like, you always like you've really mastered the conventions, like, and I really respect that, because it's very easy for you to go to all of these conventions and end up, in a sense, like, just sort of melting into the background because so much stuff is happening, but you always find a way to stand out, and I really, really respect that, man. So yeah. Oh man, yeah, it's been really, really good to get you on and to actually have your product on, like, just over my shoulder,
good.
like,
it looks good in the background.
You get me? I got my number one in there as well, which is also good. You get me, man? So yeah, man, that's definitely a vibe. And you know what? Since we're talking about ShoeStacks, let's get into it, man. I mean, obviously, you mentioned it earlier, but you sort of got the idea for ShoeStack during the lockdown in 2020, and ended up sort of starting around 2021. Bro, what was the sort of catalyst that made you think, you know what, I think this is a really good business for me to get into, and sort of why sneaker cases, why protecting kicks, man? Talk to us.
I remember it was coming up to 4 years now, next month, when I had the idea, and I've tried. So, like, ever since I could afford to buy my own shoes, I was buying them probably a bit too much. Like, not like what most people have, but I think at that point I maybe had like 30 pairs, and they were all just in boxes. I had a few different cases that I'd went, if you remember, like Container Store. There was a few like where I actually went into the shops and bought them, and they weren't cheap, but the quality wasn't great. Like,
it's because they didn't have any competition at that time. It was, yeah, I get you, bro.
And they were pre-made, so like I remember going to the shop and buying like 6 boxes and having to get someone to help me take them out, because it was just so hard to carry them about because of the size of them. And then it was around Christmas time, I tried a few other ones in that time. Nothing really stood out, and then I bought some off Amazon, and I thought, this is still not quite good enough. So I'm already like 3-4 boxes in, like, and nothing's like cutting it. It doesn't make the shoe look good, and they're no cheap. Do you know what I mean? So it's no something I would want to go and buy 30, 40 of them just because the quality is no there. I bought these boxes off Amazon, and that was the catalyst, because I looked at them and I thought, these are all right. They're better than the last ones. They're flat packed, but there was still something that wasn't good enough. Like, you can see on the ones behind you there are 180 model. All 3 of the windows are acrylic, so everything's just fully clear like glass. Whereas the ones I got were similar style to that, but just not as durable, and the glass was fogged out. So you couldn't really, even on the front, couldn't really see the shoe. And I just thought, I can do something better. Like, I need to think of something, because I don't want my shoes in these boxes. They're not, like, we're from Bosnia, so I never chucked them out. They're still somewhere.
Absolutely.
I think, like, they're in the shed or something, and something's in them. But, like, for putting my collection in, I thought, I want them to look good as well as that. And then it's weird. It's like stuff just started falling in place. So after I had that idea, the name ShoeStack came to me, and I started looking about for suppliers and testing loads of different boxes. And these behind me, I got 4 different styles to start with that I was really happy with. The front opening ones in clear and black, and then there wasn't really many of these at the time, but like the ones that you've got that show the shoe from the side, that was only really just starting to come about because it was mainly just front drop ones. For me, the front drop ones actually work better because I've not got that much space, so I can fit more of the front drop ones in there. But the side drop ones are really popular because it's a better view of the shoe.
Yeah, you can really see the shoe.
And once I was happy with the product, I ended up, I think I got like 1,000 of them to start with. So December, had the idea, registered the company, everything, got 1,000 in, and I don't think the website was even ready until March. So like I started working on the website, got the socials up, and I started selling them on eBay to start with. And the first 1,000 went really good. Like I thought, like, this is going to work here because people are liking it. And I think it took me like 2 months to sell the first 1,000. And I was like, this is
that's deep.
This is going to be like, and I remember getting them. I got them to my mum's house, and it was like snowing, and she was like, the UPS man came, and I was out at the time, and she phoned me, and she was like, come back now, because
what have you done?
The UPS guy came to the door with one like big box, and he was like, I've got a delivery, and she was like, oh, just leave it at the door. And he was like, no, the van's full, like literally. And then I was like, ran back, got all of this. Like we managed to stuff it in the hallway, up in the attic, shed. I even had to borrow someone's garage to like put them in at the time. And like looking back at it, it was all fun though. It kind of made the character of the company because it was just like I didn't even have anywhere to store them. I didn't know how the size was going to be when they would get here. Like how much would 1,000 boxes, how much space they would take up, and I just got really good feedback off the first customers, even from the eBay customers. And then when the website launched, it just kept going. And then because they'd sold out, I remember I put them up for pre-order. I was a bit wary about it to start with, thinking like now, because I went all in. So like I put all my savings into it and thought I need to get as many as I can because I know these styles are working, and I was really happy with them myself. And the reaction I got for the customers, I thought I just need to get as many as I can. And I kind of just jumped in at the deep end, ordered a 40-foot container, and managed to go and get a storage unit this time. So like they weren't getting delivered to my mum's house. But I went to a storage unit. I got one that was a bit too big to start with, but luckily it's flexible with self-storage. You can kind of downsize and that.
You can downsize,
and like, you might have seen it on our socials, but like when it comes to the containers, it's always like a family event. This first one was a bit stressful because I'd never done it before, and I was like, it was all new, and I had this big container, and like, how are we going to take these out? And the unit was upstairs, so it was like somebody was taking them off the container, putting them on trolleys in the lift, up the stairs. And that's when I was like, oh, this is real now. Like, and I'm starting to get some bills that are quite big, like for the unit, thinking like,
facts.
And shipping was crazy because it was Corona times. So like, I didn't know at the time, but like, just for comparison, the shipping on the container alone was 17,000, and I was like,
oh, wait, like £17,000?
Yeah,
bro, that is money.
It was crazy. Like I say, I put everything into this, and then even when it came, it was like I didn't think it was going to be that much. And that's when it hit home. I'm like, now I've got to sell these. Like, I've got a lot of them.
Facts.
But to be honest with you, when I put them on pre-order, before I'd even got that container, I was getting a good reaction. I was getting pre-orders. Like I say, No Two Ways pre-ordered them, and I had quite a few big orders coming in. So it gave me the confidence. And now, like, getting those containers in, the price, like, it's fluctuated. Don't get me wrong. Like, the last container was quite expensive as well. I think the shipping on that was like 8,000. But in between there, I've had the shipping all the way down to 3,000 for a container. So, like, now that we've done like over 10 containers, it's like a big family day out when it comes. Like, literally, my mum, my auntie, sister, my cousins, everybody comes along, and we'll all just take turns. Somebody's on the container, taking it out, putting it on, and then me and my mum and my auntie once offloaded. Mostly we get 40 foots, but one time I tried getting smaller ones more often, but it didn't work because we ended up selling them too fast. And it takes...
Yes, and then you end up having to go through the process of getting more in. Yeah.
It takes 3 months to come in. So, like, I thought maybe if I ordered a smaller one more regularly, but we ended up selling that within a month.
Jeez.
And I remember it came the day after an event, or it was either an event or a run. And I got back, and it was just me, my mum, and my auntie. I had nobody else because it was so short notice. We offloaded the container in like an hour. All by hand.
You see what that is? That's that Bosnian strength right there, bruh. Bosnian mum and the auntie, yeah? Respect to mums and auntie, you know. Respect to them women right there, boy. Different gravy right there, man. That's very, very cool, man. And, you know, having the support of your family is really, really important when you're doing things like this, man, because, like, when you're trying to break new ground, you're trying to do something that's probably never been done before, really, like, you need that familiarity of someone behind you giving you that support, telling you, yeah, man, we support you, man, you can do this, man. So, no, it's very, very cool that your family is supportive, man. Like, what advice would you give to, like, budding entrepreneurs, whether it be in the sneaker or sneaker protection space, or I mean any entrepreneur really, because you've probably learned some really, really important lessons. What advice would you give?
I would say, like, just be consistent and don't be scared. Like, it's like you have to take risks. Do you know what I mean? Like, me getting that container was a big risk. Just if it feels right, do it, and if you're not getting the reaction straight away, just keep being consistent, because it comes in waves. Do you know what I mean? Like, now that I've done it for 4 years, I can see that, like, it's at the start we were just straight up, but we've had a few waves along the way. Do you know what I mean? And it's like just riding out those waves and getting to the next level. You can always take even the small wins. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember going to the events, and first event I was quite nervous. I went myself, small van, and I just thought, like, I actually put so much in this tiny little van. If I don't sell anything here, I'm not going to be able to fit it all back in the van, because it was literally like stuff
packed.
And I was just like, well, and then I go there, I meet the people, and then sometimes I've had a show, especially at the start, where we've not sold that much. But I still say it was a good show, because I'm like, I met people, networked, and then, like you said, even before the call, like, we've got the brand out there. People have seen it. People have took our business cards. Like, don't know, down the line, they might be interested. And then the more they see us, so, like, I've never had a bad show, I would say. I always try and take the positives out of it, and I would say that to anybody as well. Like, just try and think positive and take all the little wins that you get and just keep going with it.
Fantastic, bro. Nah, couldn't have said it any better, man. And I completely agree. What you said about sort of things come in waves. I think because of social media and because of stuff like that, like, we get a bit stuck on, like, that sort of, like, are people clicking? Are people looking? Are people buying? Are people doing what we need them to do? But it really does come in waves. There'll be time, as long as you're consistent, there'll be a time where people are not really looking at you because maybe they're over there looking at something else, and that's fine. But just be consistent, because if you keep on putting out a good product or keep on producing good quality in anything that you're doing, when it does come back around, people will look. People aren't going to just flick past you. People aren't going to just glance past. They're going to actually stay and look, and actually I'm saying they're gonna come in and they're gonna vibe with what you're doing, man. And I completely attest, because I mean, as I said, I was saying like before, the reason why I know ShoeStacks was because the first interview I did on a podcast was the SWO podcast, and I'll always shout them out because they're my guys forever. You get me?
They're really cool.
ACS, so Aiden, ACS, Shay Cray, Patrick T, and Ashley from the SWO podcast, they brought me on, and it was sponsored by ShoeStacks. And these guys were, every 10 minutes, Ashley was like, ShoeStacks, sponsored by ShoeStacks, sponsored by ShoeStacks. And I was like, who the hell are ShoeStacks?
That was a really organic, like, sort of meet up as well, because Aiden had bought some of my boxes, and I remember like watching his videos on the new releases and seeing my boxes in the back, and I thought, like, this is really cool, like, and I liked his videos. And then got chatting to him, still talk to him to this day, and just seen Patrick at Wembley. Like, any chance I get, I'll catch up with him. I caught up with the whole team apart from Ashley. He wasn't at the Birmingham show. I think
it was the Birmingham one. I saw the photos of it, man. Yeah, man. So when I saw that, like just how much they vibe with it, then I had to sort of start looking into it myself, and then I started seeing you at shows, and I started sort of interacting with you as well, and started realizing, like, because I came into the culture, so I've always been a sneaker enthusiast, but not necessarily tapped into the UK culture. So it was around not lockdown that I sort of started dipping back in and getting my head sort of around what's been going on in the culture sort of thing. And it was that around that same time that I started doing content, and then I started going to things like Crep City and other events as well. And then you start seeing familiar faces and hearing certain names, and it's like, oh, it's really cool when you're seeing like a really genuine brand with really humble beginnings do really well. So no, it's definitely an honor and a privilege to have you on the podcast, and thank you so much for that amazing advice. It's really, really, really true. We're gonna start working our way down. We've got a couple of bits to do before we go, man. I got to ask you a really, really important question. It's one of my favorites. It's called Desert Island Kicks. You may have heard it before, but just in case you haven't, you're stuck on a desert island and you don't know how you got there, but you've got 2 pairs of kicks with you. What 2 pairs of kicks would you have with you, and why?
No, I was speaking to my missus about this. I've seen this question, and I thought my first reaction was Crocs, and probably the Sally Bembury Crocs, because they're like, Crocs just in general, you can wear them like anywhere. But then I asked her what would she wear on the desert island, and she said running shoes. And then I was like, oh, you know what? There's one really good pair. There's they're not my normal running shoes, but they're like trail running shoes. So like just versatile and good grip. There's Saucony trail runners. And the grip on them, they've got a bit of a more solid sole, and if they get wet, they get dry really fast. They're no waterproof, but they just dry really fast. So it's like, and she was like, if I need to run away from animals, and I didn't think about that. I was like,
see,
that's good. So it'd be the Sauconys and the Crocs, I think.
I know, that's a good couple. That's a good pair, you know, because you're absolutely right. The thing is, the reason why I asked this question is because it kind of like, it lets people sort of run away with it in their mind as to sort of how life would possibly be on this island sort of thing. And what your missus said was fair, man. There may be animals on this island. There may be indigenous people that just don't recognize you. And then we like, you know what, man, I might need to run away. I have to get away quickly, you know? So yeah, man, having the Crocs is definitely a vibe, but having some trail runners as well, you can't knock that, man. And I respect that. I definitely respect that, man. Bro, have you got some time? We're going to do some quick fires, man. You got some time for that?
Aye.
Alright. Now with these quick fires, yeah, like with respect, I'm not here for the dilly dally, man. I need you to answer your questions quickly. You get me? Can you do that? When we agree that?
Yep.
Perfect. If you're ready, I'm ready, and let's go in 3, 2, 1. First question: Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
New Balance or Adidas?
Adidas.
New Balance or Saucony?
Saucony.
New Balance.
You know, I rate them, but I don't have that many New Balances.
Man. Shout out to New Balance, man. We all love you, man. But
I rate them.
What it is. It is what it is. Is it Nike or Nike?
Nike.
Can you wear Nike and Adidas together?
Unpopular opinion, yeah.
Wow. We may come back. We may chat about that. What was the last shoe you won on the Sneakers app?
Chlorophyll ones. The Air Max ones.
The 20th edition, yeah? The 20th anniversary.
It was a special raffle. Like, they only had it up for a certain amount of time. I got a message from someone saying, they've just put the raffle up.
Do you know what? You're right. I think you might, because they had the main one, and then maybe like a week or so after, there was like a really quick one.
That's what I got on.
I missed it on both. If I'm being honest, I missed it on both. But yeah, I mean, we ended up getting them in the end. But like, nah, definitely a vibe, man. And that shoe that's my number one Air Max one. So I absolutely love that shoe. Okay, so coming back, do you have a Jordan number? And if so, what number is it?
3. Jordan 3.
Respect it. YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok?
YouTube.
Sneakers, kicks, or crepes?
Sneakers.
Spotify or Apple?
Spotify.
What is your favorite collaboration?
One that's coming. I just entered the raffle today. The Stash.
I heard
95s.
Yeah, bro. There's a lot of people excited about the Stash 95s. The rumors are true, bro. And these things are coming out, bro. So yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So I'm not mad at that whatsoever. Vans or Converse?
Vans.
Laces or slip-ons?
Laces.
Default laces, or do you pattern your laces?
Usually default.
Okay. Customized shoes or straight GR factory settings?
I don't want to say both, but I've got some customized pairs that I like, but usually just factory.
I respect it. Retro or innovation?
Retro.
Flip-flops or slides?
Slides.
Socks or barefoot?
Socks.
Comfort or style?
Comfort.
Fresh and clean or beaten and battered?
Fresh and clean.
Washing machine or hand washing your kicks?
Hand wash.
Lows, mids or highs?
Lows.
And the last question, triple blacks or white and whites?
Triple black.
Oh, it's demon time, bro. Triple black. Be careful, man. You see Bernado coming, bro. When you see Bernado coming. All right, bro. Fairly unscathed. You did mention there's something we do have to touch on, right? I did ask you, and it's important that I just check before we go back to this. Can you hear me very clearly?
Yeah.
Can you hear what the words that are coming out of my mouth? Cool. I asked you, can you wear Nike and Adidas together? And you said,
I've done it before, I can't lie. I know it's one of them, like I had a discussion and it was like Adidas t-shirt. And I used to love the Adidas Originals tracksuits and that.
This is it, man. That's how they get you, man. that was it. That Originals tracksuit, yeah, the 3 stripes, man, the little collar and that. And then people put the Air Max ones or the Air Force ones on the bottom of it, and it's like, bro, come on, man, come on. But it's got a lot of people, bro. It's got a lot of people. Or people flip it and they do the Nike Tech fleece with the Yeezys, and I'm like, bro, come on, man, what's going on?
I get why it's like it shouldn't be a thing, but
it's a thing, bro. It's a thing. It's not a good thing, but it's definitely a thing. I'll definitely cross the street. But it is what it is, man. Everyone can do what they want to do. Just know that people are secretly judging you. Right?
No, they're not even secretly judging.
For real, they're on podcast. They're on podcast telling you they're judging. Okay. But you know what we're gonna do here, right? Last couple of questions. Sneakerhead is something that we talk about a lot. It's something that's mentioned in terms of the community. What does the actual term sneakerhead mean to you?
Someone that likes their shoes, and like, for me personally, I've got some silhouettes that I really like. Like, I think 95s or 110s. I got told off for calling them 95s once. It's like probably my most that I've got in the collection. Maybe like 15 pairs of them, and just something about childhood. I think like those were always 110 was a lot, so it was like they were a bit out of reach. And then when I could finally get them and started finding some deals and actually just buying them for myself, I started really liking all the different colours and that. But I think like now I've met a lot of different people as well, and I can kind of like see their passion for it, whether it's like, you know, like one style of shoe. They're like specials, or like they seem really popular. I've met a few people.
Bro, and the guys that like specials, they ride hard for specials and the originals, bro. And they ride super hard for that. Bro, I love it. I
just like the passion, like, especially now that I've met a lot of people. Like, I used to sit and talk about shoes with my cousin or anyone that liked it. I'm like, oh, you seen this shoe that's coming out? Like, and then you can tell when they're into shoes. But now that I'm actually in the community as well, and I meet a lot of sneakerheads, like, you actually see the passion and them talking. Like, especially like even just at this last show, for example, when I was telling you about the corks, or like I've got the Persians, the Persian Violet BWs. The guy's come up and he's like, God, I remember when I was.
That's a super old school shoe, bro. That's secondary school, primary school shoe to me. That represents a lot to me. So I can imagine a lot of people, the nostalgia. And that shoe is fire, bro.
People always have some sort of story connected to it. And he's like, I remember those when I was younger. And he was like, I didn't like them back then. But he was like, now, like, the colourway's grown on me. And, like, I like how much people like their collection. And that's kind of, like, why I'm proud to have this company as well. Because instead of just having them in the boxes like I used to have, you can see them all. You can actually appreciate them when you're not wearing them as well. And like I've got a lot in common with sneakerheads. Like I can just, do you know what I mean? We share the same passion, so like I can pretty much connect with most sneakerheads.
I love that, bro. I love that. And I mean, with that being said, Bernado from ShoeStack, are you a sneakerhead?
Yeah.
Bro, not only, because you said yes quickly, bro, not only are you a sneakerhead, bro, you are, right, a Kicks Chronicles certified sneakerhead, bro. How about that?
Definitely.
How about that? 30, bro. Bernado is 30, G. 100%. Shout out to Bernado ShoeStacks for jumping on the podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, my bro. Like, really, really cool speaking to you. As I said a few times, this has been a long time coming, but I feel like there's been a really, really cool interview and a conversation, man. I really enjoyed chatting to you, man. Please, 5-6 million people are going to watch this, so please tell the people how they can connect with what you've got going over there at ShoeStacks, man.
Our website, ShoeStack.com. Hit us up on socials, Instagram, Facebook at ShoeStack, TikTok, ShoeStack.com, and my number's on there. So if you've ever got any questions, you can always just drop me a WhatsApp. So there's our LED boxes.
You don't play, bro.
Ever need anything? Like, I connect with a lot of my customers. They'll drop me a message on WhatsApp, and we're the number one rated. And I want to say the world, like on Trustpilot, we're number one for bedroom furniture accessories. We're actually ranked in the top 3 for just shop altogether.
I respect it.
And we're ranked in the top 5 on a lot of the categories, number 1 on Google. And our quality doesn't compare to anybody else. And our customer service and lifetime guarantee. So, like, if you ever have any problems, like I say, my number's on there, we will replace panels. You can check the returns page on our website. Literally, like, if you have an accident, the screen breaks on the front, all we need is just either shipping covered, or if you're ordering more boxes, I'll put the new panels in. Just send us a picture, just get in touch. So it's like, we look after the customers and we make sure that their collection's looking good.
I respect it, man. People, get involved, man. You get me? The guy's got a healthy social media page as well. Like, as he said, Instagram, TikTok. Reach out to him. His number's on the website. You get me? Reach out to man. If you want good quality product. Now, don't get me wrong, and I'll be fair to everybody, right? Bernado will tell you he's not the only one that sells it, and he even just mentioned it himself. But I've used this product. It's a good product. You get me? So I can say that. You get me? I've used other products. There are other good ones. This is really good. Really, really good. And I can say that with chest. With chest, I can say that.
So I've tested them with 230 kilos of weight. The video's on our TikTok somewhere. I put 230 kilos of plates from the gym on top of the boxes. And
standing firm.
Not a crack. It's all good.
Buddy, you get me? So yeah, I'm like, because I need to make some changes in the room. People can't see, but I've got some madness going on in the corner. Like, look at that.
The boxes, that's every sneakerhead.
You get me? Like, so like, when the time is right, I'll have to make a couple changes. You get me, man? But bro, like, 100%. So happy for you to have been on the podcast. Like, really do appreciate it. Guys, make sure to go light up Bernado. Make sure to go light up ShoeStack. You get me? Show mad love and support. You get me? While you're out there showing love and support, show us a little bit of love and support. You get me? Kicks Chronicles, everywhere you get podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. 5-star reviews, please. Leave comments and reviews and like and share and all that, but 5-star reviews. Only 5-star reviews are acceptable. And even if you're upset, just leave a 5-star and then we can have a chat, right? We can always have a chat about it. You get me? I won't go as far as leaving you my number, but we can have a chat. You get me? I'll give you my email address instead. It's kicks.chronicles@gmail.com. And yeah, guys, once again, do all of those great things that you know you're meant to do, but some of you fail to do. No, I'm saying, like, life will be laughing out here, man. So like, comment, and subscribe. Do all of those good things. Make sure to go and share. Get me? PROZECH on all forms of social media, right? So if you see PROZECH out there, you get me? It's me. 100% of the time, it's gonna be me. Just hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, and you get me, man. And stay plugged in. Once again, Bernado, absolute pleasure having you, bro. Really, really do appreciate it, man. And yeah, I'm going to see you very soon at one of these next events. You get me, man? So I'll make sure to come by and say hello. And if you see any of us at these events, make sure to come and say hi, man.
Right, for sure, mate.
Make sure to always come and say hi.
Always good to see you at the events, and thank you for having me on. Like I say, it's mad. I've watched your podcasts. I've seen all the people on, and this is my first podcast. So, like, you having it with you make it really. Because I've already met you as well. It's kind of like we're just chatting in person, like, and it's really good for a first podcast experience. You've made that really comfortable. Like,
no, you smashed it. I feel like the thing about podcasting is just trying to get people to a place where they're comfortable enough to just have a conversation. Like, this isn't really an interview in its true sense, because I'm not disciplined enough to do like a proper interview, like a newscaster or a journalist, man. I just like having a chat. And the thing is, it's so easy to talk about Kicks because of the passion that we all have for them, right? So it's just like a nice way for us to connect, and I feel like it's really cool. And yeah, man, I'm really, really proud of what we've been able to do today, and hopefully everyone likes the episode. I'm sure they will. But yeah, we've got loads of other episodes with, like Bernardo said, a lot of other guests that we've had in the past, so feel free to check out the back catalogue. And yeah, guys, till I see you down the road, everyone look after yourselves and stay blessed.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Kicks Chronicles. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, rate, review, and all that good stuff. And remember, full video version is available on YouTube, audio versions available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.